Got this email, rad@radradio.com. It's from Rochelle.
Hey, Rochelle.
She's writing in about financewithshelby.com, featuring Shelby Elias of United Wholesale Lending, who just happens to be sitting 6 feet away from me.
Yay!
Hello, Shelby.
Good morning.
She says, my husband and I recently closed on a home purchase with United Wholesale Lending, and I wanted to rave about the service we received. We've purchased many homes as investments and dwellings, but I've never experienced this type of competency.
Wow.
This home purchase was the most thorough and easiest home transaction we have ever had. Shelby's team was very competent and made sure things went smoothly. I would like to thank Shelby and Peter for all the hard work, and their recommendation for our agent was spot on. He was an excellent agent and a pleasure to work with. They will definitely have us as repeat customers.
Awesome.
And that covers the whole gamut of what you do, the financing, the getting the agent, and everything else. Now, before we go on, I mentioned an hour ago or so that you might be here. Because now you're here, which is good, which means, as far as we know, your wife is not giving birth.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh,
What's her actual due date? Next week?
The 30th.
Okay.
Wow.
So do you have your phone like sitting there just in case she suddenly calls?
I do. It's right here.
So how many kids do you have right now?
2.
So you've been through this process.
Yeah.
And that's why you sent me a note earlier this week, said, hey, look, I should be there.
Yeah.
But just because they give you a due date doesn't mean it's going to happen then.
Yeah, the last 2 were 2 weeks early, so we're right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how old are your kids?
7 and 4.
No, the 7-year-old, is that the one you go skiing with and you post on Instagram? Okay.
So cute.
7. Do you have a read yet on what he's going to be into?
Oh, he
Can you tell?
is a natural born salesman.
Oh,
He literally what he does, he'll set up a movie theater. He'll use our movie theater in the house, and he puts on a movie, and then he sells us popcorn. He sells us tickets. He's 7 years old. He comes up with this all on his own.
I love
And he
that.
started, he would draw. So he'd go on YouTube and draw a photo, and then he'd set up a store, and he would sell us his drawings. I mean, he's always
Oh
he
my
did
God.
concerts.
Love
and
that.
Anytime we have a bunch of friends over, he's like, I'm setting my store up. Crazy.
That's great.
Do we know what the new baby's going to be?
Another boy. Our third boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and by the way, you can say none of your business at any point here. Last one, though.
man.
Is this it? Or do you just keep...
Yeah, this
Yeah?
is it.
Yeah? Okay.
I mean, I wish I would have started earlier. Maybe I'd have more kids, but I'm done.
Oh, sweet.
What are you, 38 now?
39 in September.
So you're envisioning you're going to be 50 when this kid's 11 and you're already exhausted because...
I still want to be a cool dad, I still want to be able to go snowboarding and have, fun.
Yeah.
So
Was your wife hoping after 2 boys it'd be a girl, or she's so all in on a boy mom?
Well, yeah. So she told me, she said, no, it'd be easier if we have a boy. And the moment we found out, I knew she wanted a girl.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you're here. And to that point, we also got this email from Ron.
Hey, Ron.
Says, the information that Shelby shares with the RAD listeners has helped me understand what I did incorrectly when approaching my refinance. And I take all of this information, I share it with family members or friends who are looking to invest or purchase or refinance. Thank you for all the information he so freely shares. Well, that's one of the things, one of the reasons Shelby's so popular is he just comes on and he's not always selling you. He's answering questions. And it's not, last time you were on, we mainly focused on, credit score, fixing your credit report, things like that. And I mean, the story right now is the economy. In fact, a couple of things I pulled out from this week. More than half of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 60% say they're living paycheck to paycheck. Inflation's at a 40-year high. So obviously we know groceries and gas are through the roof. Workers across all income levels are having a harder time saving money. And in a separate survey, when asked what was holding them back from living the American dream, 62% of those surveyed said it was the cost of living. It's bad out there. And we were talking right before we went on the air, and I have the same perception. You feel like it's really gotten bad in the last month.
Yeah. I feel like it just started hitting people right now.
I wonder if is that a function, this is all guesswork, of what we've been talking about on the show for a few months. We all went out, we did whatever version of summer vacation we were going to do. You flew to Paris or you went camping and everything in between. And now reality has really slapped us in the face.
Yeah.
And we're getting ready to go back to school and all that other stuff.
Well, I mean, because if you were a person that is saving every month, everything now with the cost of it is cutting into what you were going to save.
Yep.
So why would you then make plans to go anywhere and do anything?
Exactly.
That the money's not being saved. And I just think on all whatever level of money that you make, I mean, I would think for even some that are, well, I mean, if you're uber wealthy, you have nothing to worry about. That's one thing. But if you're someone that has more money than most, you're probably still like, you know what? I'm not now going to buy whatever, those 3 Rolexes. I don't know. I just think it's one of those things that because everything costs so much, every single person, unless you're a bazillionaire, is cutting back somewhere.
Well, you're close to a bazillionaire. Do you have are you in that I have nothing to worry about camp?
No, not at all. We cut everything out. I mean, just being smart. And, this is what's also scary for homeowners as well, because, any investor, they're going to be now looking at all their rentals because everybody's getting pinched. So now they're going to go back and they're going to analyze, okay, how much was I renting this for? How much can I rent it for now? And, it's going to start tightening up. So even in the renter space, you might be in a great position right now, but your landlord's probably going to start to check out where his rental position is, and that stinks.
Now, what about, if we've got 60% of people living paycheck to paycheck, we've got some homeowners who are missing payments or getting behind on payments. You were saying that you're aware of, you don't run it, but you're aware of a program that might help some people with that?
Yeah, it's called the California Mortgage Relief Program, and it's designed for homeowners that have missed payments. So you have to show proof that you missed payments, that you can show a financial hardship, and they will actually credit you back for those missed payments if you qualify. So it's not something that we do, but there is help out there for homeowners that were struggling, and I think that people should check it out.
Phone number is 888-989-9811. You got questions for Shelby, you can email us, rad@radradio.com. It's Shelby Elias from financewithshelby.com. What is, I heard, so I didn't look this up, Shelby, but I heard yesterday or 2 days ago that the housing market across America has just fallen, the bottom's fallen out of it. Is that your experience right now?
No, I don't think that the bottom is falling out by any means. There's been a rise in inventory, which everything's all about supply and demand. So the reason why the inventory, and inventory meaning homes, more homes are coming to the market, is because the buyer pool has gone down. It shrunk a lot. So it's not like we just created more inventory. What happened was less people qualify, and it's mostly first-time home buyers. So all the first-time home buyers are now having a harder time qualifying. So there's more homes on the market. Therefore, the market is starting to soften up. So, yeah, we are seeing it, seeing the market dip a little bit in certain areas. But it's mainly just we had so much growth that there's a little bit of natural pullback, and we need to normalize the market, condition.
So, not to be the guy that's finding the pony inside the manure, but what I hear there is completely counterintuitive to what everybody else is saying. It sounds to me like it's actually a great time to be a buyer, because what it's been for the last many months, if not years, is you couldn't get the house you wanted. You got the house that you could.
Yes.
Well, if there's all this inventory, and if the buyer pool is down, you might actually be able to get the exact house you want. Am I being an idiot here?
No, you're right on. You are exactly on. And where all the opportunity lies right now is to find a scared seller. So you have some sellers that are out there that say, you know what? I want to sell my house, but I don't have to sell my house. It'd be nice to be able to move. If I can get this price, then I'm willing to move. That's not who you're looking for as a buyer. Right now, you want to be going after a home that has been listed for maybe 15 days, 25 days. The seller's now starting to get nervous. Everything's all about the psychology of the seller. And it's switched from a seller's market to where they're getting over asking price. They can demand all their terms. You take what you get, to now saying, okay, I have some options here. I can negotiate a better deal. And then it's all about finding an agent that's an expert negotiator, period, because that's how you're going to negotiate that really good deal. And then if you're selling your home, you need an agent that is not only a great negotiator, but you need somebody that can put some deals together, because you're not getting 10, 20 offers on a house anymore. If you get an offer or 2 offers, you have to figure out how to make it work. So that would be with creative financing options. Shoot, I have somebody that wants to buy this house. They don't qualify for a conventional loan. Can I get them into a bank statement loan? How do I figure this out? Or I have a buyer that really likes this house, but they need a rehab budget. How do I provide them with a rehab budget? Or their payments a little bit higher. How do I structure a seller credit to get the interest rate down enough that the buyer's going to want to move forward? So there's a huge opportunity. I don't know if we mentioned this before, but I just negotiated a property in Austin, Texas on Lake Travis. I got a $200,000 seller credit. That's insane. The house appraised for $50,000 less than I offered. So really I came out $150,000 ahead.
Right away, you have that much equity.
It's insane. I mean,
Yeah,
and then I use
great.
that to go and furnish the house because it's going to be an Airbnb. I use it to furnish the house, remodel the house. Once I remodel the house, now that thing's going to go up in value too. So the seller basically paid me to flip their house. It's crazy.
And those opportunities are out there for just regular old people.
Yep. And what we're seeing right now too is we're seeing agents out there negotiating great deals because I see the appraisal, right? So they negotiate the deal up front. The appraisal comes in, and I'm seeing these appraisals come in $50,000 higher than what they negotiated. So it's all in just finding the sellers that either have to sell because there's a lot of people that maybe lost a lot of money in the stock market or something like that. And you just have to find those deals, but they're out there now, and they haven't been.
So as we started with the reason I said it was counterintuitive to say, wait a minute, this is a great time to be a buyer, is the thing that now we have to bring up because everybody's being told, oh my God, and they hear you and you explain why it's a great time to be a buyer, which is a way of saying that I was right. But people are screaming, but Shelby, Rob, interest rates, everything's about interest rates. They're at for some people they're at the highest point in their lifetime.
Yeah.
Not old guys like me, but what is it? It's over 5% now.
I mean, they've gone, higher than that before, but
Of course
the problem that we have is that there's high home prices and high interest rates at the same time. So, that's definitely hurting.
So what? So everything you said doesn't matter now because the interest rates are so high. Because I'm not going to
No.
buy because the interest rates are so high.
No, you have to be more creative. So you're going into a position and you're saying, hey, I'm going to buy this house. I'm going to negotiate a $20,000 seller credit. If I can use, so say like on a $500,000 home, I quoted this deal yesterday, and I'm not quoting interest rates and whatever, but this will just give you some perspective, and I'll use some round numbers that way I don't get in trouble. So if somebody were purchasing a $500,000 house, okay, and their true interest rate right now would be maybe 5.25 APR range, that way I don't get in trouble. So 5.25 range interest rate. And if you can buy that interest rate down with the seller credit, so you're going to get the credit to give you a credit to buy that rate down. And you can get that rate down into maybe like the 4.5, 4.6. So there is opportunities. You just have to go out there and find out what those are. And that could save you $200, $300, $400 a month by structuring it that way.
So, okay, tell me if I'm wrong in what I'm hearing. Well, first of all, what I'm hearing in the good news is because when you've been here before and the market was going nuts and people were like, they couldn't even get a house because they couldn't go as high as other people were going, right? People were paying $50,000 over $60,000, maybe even more. And some of them couldn't even maybe see the houses because that's how quick they were going.
Yeah.
So I'm like excited for those people because it doesn't sound like that's happening. Now they can like maybe actually pay what they want to pay instead of going over. And so my thing, I'm like, that should be so exciting because if you were willing to pay way more than it was worth because of a low interest rate, you should be willing to pay what it is you want to pay at a higher interest rate because can't they refinance that later? Because eventually won't those rates come down?
Yeah.
Is this correct? Okay.
Yeah, yep. And I
I'm
actually,
learning.
I think that we will definitely see lower interest rates in the future. One of the things that I looked up the other day is in the last 10 years, 3 of those years, 2012, 2016, and 2019, we saw rates dip down to 3.875. So mortgage rates follow bad news. So again, we're waiting for the news to say, yes, we're officially in a recession. Recessionary periods.
Next week.
Rates, come down. So another thing that I wanted to touch on too, though, is that in this rate environment, right? So like I mentioned, I'm on the wholesale side of lending. We're a mortgage broker, so we shop at every different bank, okay? So we have all the different options. We don't have the margins that are built in that these big banks do, okay? So they have all these layers of management, right? Regional manager, division manager, sales manager. We don't have that. You're coming direct to the source, right? So that's why people are shocked when I answer the phone because you're coming straight. There is no sales managers. Doesn't work like that. So what these big companies do is they increase their margins. So like, okay, less business. We need to make more money on our loans. So they increase the margins. What the margins are, that's the interest rates. So what we're doing right now is we're actually calling all of our agents and saying, hey, if you have any buyers that are pre-approved, let me just shop the pre-approval. All's what I need. I don't need to run their credit. I don't need any of that. The only thing I need to know is what is their credit score, and let me see the loan estimate from the other bank. At that point, I can shop their interest rate and tell them, hey, I could beat this one by $3,000, $5,000, $10,000.
Nice.
I beat one the other day by $600 per month.
Dang. Oh,
Seriously.
that's huge.
$600
That's
per month.
huge.
The client's freaking out.
Jesus. Yeah.
I mean,
oh my
so
gosh.
if you're a buyer out there right now, you need to be shopping around more than ever because banks are increasing their margins to make up for the volume.
So now that we've talked about all the reasons why you really shouldn't be saying, oh my God, it's a terrible time to buy, what about now we're scared the hell out of people who have to sell or want to sell?
Yeah.
And you do all sides of the business. So what do you tell somebody who calls you and says, Shelby, I heard you on Rad this morning and I am terrified now because I have to sell my house. Am I just screwed?
Yeah. Well, no, you're not screwed. But so the houses that are selling, they're still getting multiple offers. But what you have to do now, before you could just basically freshen up your house, put it on the market, and you're going to get 20 offers. Right now, you have to be the best house in the market. So there's no better time to be able to hire an agent that really knows what they're doing. So some of the recommendations that I would make would be stage your house. You're going to have to put some money into it before you list it. And you can find an agent that's willing to do that. So shop your agents around. Find an agent that's really good negotiator. Find an agent that is willing to help you invest in getting your house ready to put on the market, because you're going to need to do some landscaping more than likely. You're going to need to probably paint. You might need to stage your house. And so at that point, it's more than just, I'm going to get this agent to put my house on the market and take professional photos. That's not value.
And you can get them that agent. If they're like, how do I do that?
100%. Yeah.
Okay, so then what about people who are like, okay, I'm not buying, I'm not selling, I've got a house. Is the refi thing dead? Is it over? Are we not refining anymore ever?
I mean, so here's where it makes sense to refinance right now. It does not make sense to do a rate and term refinance, right? Interest rates are a lot higher. I doubt people have, benefit there. So I wouldn't look into doing a rate and term refinance. What I would look into doing is a cash out refinance if you're taking out a large amount of cash. So if you have a high amount of debt right now, obviously you want to get that debt load down. So if you can amortize that debt within your mortgage, it's going to significantly lower the amount of outgoing expenses every month. So, you can pay off your car, you could pay off your credit cards, you could pay off student loans, like all of your debt. You can get all of that taken off. That's going to put you in a much better financial situation. And again, I would recommend a home equity line of credit if you're doing maybe $20,000 to pay off. Anything more than that, you still want to look into doing a 30-year fix.
Phone number is 888-989-9811. Hello, Jason.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey, what's up?
What up?
Hey, first-time homeowner. I just got a question for Shelby. So if I wanted to take out equity, and I'm a little clueless, does my interest rate go up if I take equity out of my home, if that makes sense?
Yeah, so it just depends on what your current interest rate is. So, that's the main factor. But more than likely, when you take cash out, your interest rate is going to go up. That's why it's very important that we analyze what you're going to do with the cash. If you say, hey, I'm going to go and I'm going to buy and negotiate myself a great deal on an investment property. Okay, well, let's break that down and see if it makes sense. The same if you want to pay off debt. If you say, yeah, I have $30,000 in credit card debt, I want to pay it off. Well, that's going to make a lot of sense because your interest rate on credit card debt is way higher, and it's calculated on daily interest.
So this guy, Ian, wrote in, and this would go to, what about is it still a good time to refinance if you want to improve your home? He says, I was hoping to get info on a mortgage refi without further extending my loan. I currently owe $110,000 on my loan. It would appraise around $400,000. I wanted to take some money out to do some home renovations. Now, so two things. First of all, is it still a good time? If you got that much equity, he's got $300,000. Is it a good time, even with interest rates the way they are, to take money out to make your home worth more?
Yeah.
Okay.
It definitely is.
Is there a way to do it without extending your loan?
Yeah, you can pick whatever loan term you want. If you want a 17-year, 18, if you want to stay exactly where you're at, if you want to shave some years off, You don't have to stay with the traditional 15-year or 30-year. You can pick whatever term you want.
The caller reminded me something I thought I heard you say, because he said, didn't he say he was a first-time home buyer? Did you say earlier that right now it's like harder for first-time home buyers to qualify?
Yeah.
And why is that? Because people might, be hearing that.
It's because of the affordability.
Okay.
So, if somebody made maybe $70,000 per year, before they could still qualify because the interest rates were really low. Now with the interest rates going up, it's harder for that person to qualify because the monthly payment is a little bit higher.
Makes sense. That sucks.
We got
Makes
this email
sense, but that sucks.
from Brianna. Says, "Hey Shelby, last time you were on, your Tahoe Airbnb was mentioned. My husband's family is military and spread all over the world. Once a year, we all find locations to get together for a week vacation. We take turns picking areas close to each family. This year, it's our turn, and I was really curious about your rental properties in Tahoe. We have upward of 16 adults, 22 people total. In the past, we've rented houses to suit all of us, but much prefer to have our own little units next to each other. I feel like you said you had mini cabins all located next to each other. How do I find that information?"
Yeah, that is Emerald Bay Village, and you can go to emeraldbayvillage.com. I believe we can sleep almost 30 people.
That's amazing.
So it's great for bachelor parties, family reunions, bachelorette parties, weddings. We're getting a lot of people that rent out the entire place because they're having a wedding, and they're bringing in people that do live music there, and they got the whole property. They can do whatever they want with it.
And it is what she's describing, multiple units on one piece of property.
Yep.
I've been seeing you on Instagram posting pictures of your units, man. They look gorgeous. They are really nicely furnished. They look absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we use professional designers, and they look great.
They really do.
Yeah.
And I understand right now, if they use the code RAD, R-A-D, you can get 25% off stays, through like the end of August. Like if you want to just suddenly get in there and do a quick trip.
Yeah, yep.
And what's the website again?
emeraldbayvillage.com.
And I mean, as much as you may love your family as well, it gives you a place to escape.
Yeah.
You don't have to all be in one house.
Also, speaking of your Instagram, as Kyle did, which is it's just Shelby Elias, Elias. This goes all the way back to how we started. You post a lot of stuff about your properties. You post a lot of stuff about your family. You're very family centric.
Yeah.
That's how I keep up with you and your kid doing stuff. But also, Patricia wrote in and said, "I screenshot your inspirational words and some of your videos on Instagram on how to be successful in life, and I send them to my nieces and nephews. They said, 'Wow, he's young and he's so successful,' and they are now trying to follow your inspiration."
I love it.
Isn't that great?
That's it.
All right, man. Anything else we got to mention?
No, I think that we're all good.
All right. Well, go be a dad for the third time.
I know,
Next time we see you, you'll be a 3-time father.
I know.
Love it.
Thanks so much, man. I always love having you. Shelby Elias from financewithshelby.com.